President Trump at the AsiaPacific Economic Cooperation Forum in Danang, Vietnam, today. Doug MillsThe New York Times. Good morning. Here's what you need to know. America First versus globalization. We are not going to let the United States be taken advantage of anymore. That's what President Trump told a meeting of Asia-Pacific leaders in Vietnam today. The Guidelin pitch must have been difficult for many of the countries to hear. Most had pinned their economic hopes on a U.S.-led regional pact. Our Shanghai bureau chief looks at Mr. Trump's visit to Beijing this week, and notes that China and the U.S. have a long trade fight ahead. We have video showing how Mr. Trump's rhetoric on China has changed. Did you know that the American president is more popular in Vietnam than at home? Steve Bannon visits and spars with the Times. The former Trump advisor and far-right firebrand went one-on-one with our political reporter, telling him that Senator Mitch McConnell, the majority leader, has to go, and lashing out at the news media's portrayal of the president. Mr. Bannon said that, in the future, the election of Donald Trump would be celebrated as MAGA Day, right, a high holy day. Did he feel his movement had lost steam, given Democratic success in recent elections? I keep telling people, it's going to be a struggle, he said. You're going to win some and you're going to lose some. But it's a process. A taxing problem for the GOP. The tax plan that Senate Republicans unveiled on Thursday would preserve prized exemptions like the mortgage interest deduction, and postpone a corporate rate cut to 2019. Such a delay isn't likely to go down well with the White House. We compare the proposal with the House one, and our On Washington columnist looks at the political risk of the Republicans' bet on tax overhaul, identifying potential winners and losers in the two plans. Isn't easy, but we've tried. Louis C.K. faces accusations. Sexual harassment accusations continue to upend careers. 5 women have come forward to say that Louis C.K. asked them to engage in lewd behavior. Just last month, the comedian avoided pointed questions from our reporter. After the Times story broke, HBO cut him from a comedy benefit it plans to broadcast on November 18. Separately, 4 women said Roy Moore, the Republican nominee for a U.S. Senate seat in Alabama, had made romantic overtures to them when they were teenagers. In a time stock, reporters behind our coverage of accusations against Harvey Weinstein, Bill O'Reilly and others discussed exposing abuses of power. You can it on YouTube. Ominous signs in the Middle East. Lebanon has accused Saudi Arabia of detaining its prime minister, while Saudi Arabia has ordered its citizens to leave Lebanon. At the same time, a Saudi blockade on Yemen is adding to tensions over a proxy war with Iran. Our correspondent visited a Yemeni town struggling for normalcy. The daily battle over America's soul. In today's show, Stephen Bannon discusses the future of the Republican Party. Listen on a computer, an iOS device or an Android device. Business. The all-New Deal book newsletter. Our columnist Andrew Ross Sorkin and other Times colleagues help you make sense of major business and policy headlines, and the power brokers who shape them. Sign up here. On Thursday, we held our Deal Book Conference, which featured some of the biggest newsmakers in business and policy. Here's what stood out. Workers at an Ohio factory rejected unionization, in a litmus test for labor relations at Chinese-owned companies. Who needs a spare tire? Automakers. Our exploring cheaper fixes. U.S. stocks were down on Thursday. Here's a snapshot of global markets. Smarter living dips, both new and old, for a more fulfilling life. Drinking alcohol elevates the risk of some cancers. What do colleges want in applicants? Everything. Recipe of the day. Try pairing Brussels sprouts with chorizo. Noteworthy. The Divine Draftsman. In today's 360 video, tour the Michelangelo exhibition at the Metropolitan Museum of Art with its curator. And here's a review of the show. The famous Ian you've probably never heard of. Few non-Muslims know the Swedish-Lebanese singer Maher Zain, but he's one of the biggest names in Islamic pop. Red Ice players. Canadian filmmakers have tried to get a handle on North Korea by shadowing hockey teams there. The cursed luck of T-Rex. Dinosaurs might have survived if a fatal asteroid had struck a different spot, a new study suggests. Lessons in stillness. In the Hoh rainforest in Washington state, a poet searches for the rare peace that true silence can offer. Ready for the weekend. At the we look at the rebooted Murder on the Orient Express, the thriller Thelma and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri, which features Frances McDormand. The band's visit, a Broadway earns a rave review. And our critic says Taylor Swift's latest album, Reputation, is bombastic, unexpected, sneakily potent. Finally, our book editors recommend 9 new titles. Best of Late-Night TV. Stephen Colbert and other hosts discussed the accusations against Louis C.K. Kind of quotation of the day: "I think the line gets crossed when you take all your clothes off and start masturbating." Julia Wallach, who accused Louis C.K. of UAL misconduct. Backstory: Ellis Island, the gateway to the U.S. for more than 12 million immigrants, is celebrating the 125th anniversary of its opening this year. Sunday marks the day it closed in 1954. Many Americans are descended from immigrants who passed through Ellis Island in a wave of immigration in the 19th and 20th centuries. Underwood and Underwood, via Library of Congress. Upon arrival by ship, steerage passengers were transported to the island for inspections. First and second-class passengers skipped that step. Those found to have serious contagious illnesses or deemed unemployable could face deportation. Nearly 70% of arrivals at DIDNT speak a word of English, but language was never an issue, said Doug Dream, a National Park Service ranger. Interpreters translated scores of languages. They were required to speak at least 4 each, other than English. Many were immigrants or children of immigrants. "I doubt if anyone working as a translator at the UN right now could have gotten a job at Ellis Island," said Mr. Dream. One translator, the child of European immigrants and a veteran of the U.S. Foreign Service, worked in Italian, German, Yiddish and Croatian, while attending law school at night. That was Fiorello LaGuardia, who went on to be a 3-term mayor of New York City. Sarah already contributed reporting. Your morning briefing is published weekdays at 6 a.m. Eastern and updated all morning. Browse past briefings here. If photographs appear out of order, please download the updated New York Times app from iTunes or Google Play. What would you like to see here? Contact us at briefing@nytimes.com. You can get the briefing delivered to your inbox Sunday through Friday. We have 4 global editions, timed for the Americas, Europe, Asia and Australia, and an evening briefing on weeknights. Check out our range of free newsletters here. Follow Mark A. Walsh on Twitter at MWalsh40.